What was the first video game you ever played, Matt?
Super Mario World on the SNES.
Ah, okay. Nintendo guy, okay. Mine was Sonic the Hedgehog on Sega Mega Drive. So, instantly we're rivals. Okay. Spoiler alert, Nintendo won.
Just a little bit. Although, movie-wise, I would argue Sega got the final laugh.
Right, I can't wait to see Sonic 3, man.
I haven't even seen the first one, but after seeing Jim Carrey's dance in Sonic 3, I want to go back and watch them.
Sonic 1 and 2 are great. You got to see 3.
Hey, at least we got the videos to change the eyes. That was bad.
The world spoke and they listened.
Yeah.
But, would you rank it in your top 25 video games ever?
You know, honestly, I would. I have replayed that game so much. It might be at the bottom of the list, but I would put it up there.
Well, we'll have to see if it's on Parade's top 25 best video games of all time.
Okay.
Shall we have a look and see what Parade have said are the 25 best video games of all time?
Of all time. That's a lot of games.
Of all time. All the way back to the days of Pong.
Days of Pong. You mean the days of, like, asteroids.
Asteroids, Pong. Yeah. We're going all the way back. At number 25, it's a strong start. We've got Animal Crossing New Horizons.
You know, I'm actually surprised that's a 25.
You thought it would be higher?
I would assume a little bit higher, but I guess it's one of those that has, like, its cult following, for sure.
As someone who's played previous Animal Crossings, it's not the best. It's not
really?
the best one. The best one for me is New Leaf on the DS.
So all of my friends were obsessed with that back in high school.
It's because it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Animal Crossing New Horizons, I think it had so much success because of when it came out. They could not have timed it better. Like, the fact that it came out when it did, when everybody was at home, we couldn't go anywhere. And so what do? We played Animal Crossing.
Your cozy grind game. That's exactly what this was.
Yeah. What's that? Island Getaway when you can't get out of your house. Phenomenal. But 24, this is going to annoy some people. Ghost of Tsushima.
I don't think it should have made the list.
Oh, it's a hot take. I'm right there with you. I don't think it should have made the list.
Here's my thing. I think games should be an enjoyable experience. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ghost of Tsushima it's a Souls-like game, isn't it?
I don't know well enough to know if it would be a Souls-like, but it's very similar. If not, it's very similar.
I don't like Souls-like games.
I don't like them either. There's very few games that are the style of Ghost of Tsushima that I've actually liked. You know me. I play games for a living, right? Mm-hmm. It's on my list to play, but I'm not hyped for it. I'm not hyped.
I know Elden Ring's going to be on this list just because of the insane following that it has. It's the Full Metal Alchemist of games.
Ghost of Tsushima is on there. You're going to have Dark Souls, probably all three of them, and you're probably going to have Elden Ring.
Yeah,
maybe even Bloodborne is going to be on here as well. Because they're just iconic. They're just iconic. They're not for me, they're not for you, but they seem to be for everybody else. So,
yeah, all right. 23.
Mass Effect 2.
I've never played any of the Mass Effects.
Oh, good. Me neither.
I had a coworker that was obsessed with them, but
my flatmate at university was obsessed with them, and I wanted to play them, but she'd never let me. She was always just too busy playing them herself. I saw the Legacy Collection is on Game Pass, and I intend to play them. I've heard they're iconic, but I've just never gotten around to them. I've heard they're phenomenal, but I've never gotten around to them. It's on my list of games to play, but I just never got around to it.
Yeah, same.
Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is number 22. That's low.
That's low.
That's low.
You said you've never played The Witcher 3, correct?
I've played it, but not to completion. But that's because I have an opinion that I will voice when you're done with yours.
Okay, so I have... you probably don't like the romance simulation.
I'm fine with that.
Well, I thought it was a little overdone. But I really enjoy this game. I think it should be a top 15 easily, just for the amount of stuff you can do in it. But I'm an open world fan. I love being able to go do stuff. And
I can, yeah. I can appreciate that. I absolutely agree that it should be top 15. Even as someone who doesn't particularly like this game, I agree it should be top 15. The only reason I don't like it is because I have come to realize, after playing hundreds of games over the last couple of years for my job, that I don't like being dropped in a world and going, all right, off you go. I get bored.
I really enjoyed The Witcher. It'd be one of my top 15, if not top 10s. But I enjoyed it.
Number 21 is Uncharted 4.
I've never played any of the Uncharted's.
The entire Uncharted series is phenomenal.
Is it?
It's phenomenal. The entire series is great. I think the problem that it has is it's PlayStation exclusive. that's the problem that it has. It's limited its audience.
Yeah. I mean, I've bounced back and forth between the consoles through the years. I don't have a true dedication.
Neither do I. I mean, I have all the modern consoles. Uncharted is phenomenal. I've played the PSP version of the Uncharted games and everything. They're all great.
There's a throwback.
I know, right? But yeah, Uncharted 4, I can agree with it being the first Uncharted that we've seen on this list. It's probably the weakest of the four.
Is it?
It's the conclusion. They did a quadrilogy instead of a trilogy. Mm-hmm.
Number 20, I got a sneak peek at that one. I'm okay with that, where it's at.
I am surprised to see Elden Ring at 20, and I am happy with it.
I'm okay with it, because it ranks up onto the list, and they know it's because of the cult following that it has. It's a popular game. There's no denying that it's popular, and that it's, huge.
I think the problem with it is it's popular with a very loud niche. Mm-hmm. It's I think sales figures will argue against what I'm about to say, but I would argue that a very loud, small percentage of gamers love this. And so it's gotten way more praise than maybe other games that are just as popular. But it is a phenomenal game.
Now, I will say, I bought it on launch day. I refunded it because it wasn't for me, and that was my first entrance to a Souls-like game, and I learned, just absolutely no. But it was gorgeous.
Yeah. This is the first one on the list where, again, I play games for a job, but I will not play this. But it's the first game on the list that I've watched a playthrough of. To the end. I've watched the entire thing, and really? I loved watching it. I loved watching the whole playthrough, but I wouldn't play it personally. But from watching the full playthrough, I thought it was phenomenal.
Now, I would make the argument that if it wasn't a Souls-like and it wasn't, just beat down after beat down, they made it more friendly to casual gamers, I think it would be a phenomenal game, and I think it would rank a lot higher. Souls-like is what kills it for me.
It's a very hot topic. It would, but that's not what From Software do. That's not what
no.
That's not what they do. Number 19 is much lower than I thought it would be. Smash Bros. Ultimate, arguably the best Smash Bros. Ever made.
That's funny. I mean, it's nostalgia for me, but Smash Bros. Melee is my favorite.
Oh, Melee's great. Brawl is great, but Ultimate is
Ultimate. I was wait. Okay, Brawl was for the Switch, correct?
I don't recall. No, Brawl isn't. No, Ultimate is the Switch one.
Ultimate is the Switch. Okay. No, Brawl was for the Wii. Wii or Wii U?
Brawl is the Wii. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the one that I skipped. I've played Melee and Ultimate. I would still say Melee was better, and that's nostalgia for me. I'm big on nostalgia.
That's fair. Ultimate, I think, is the cleanest because it's a fighting game.
Oh, 100% the cleanest.
Ultimate is the cleanest, and I think that's what sort of edges it above the others.
Fair.
But yeah, I can see you preferring Melee. It's one of those where it's one of those series where everybody has a different favorite.
Yeah, they're all good.
Ooh, number 18.
Number 18, God of War Ragnarok. I'm okay with it where it's at if there is a God of War that ranks higher.
Yeah, that's a good caveat to put in, yeah. I think it's a good conclusion to the Norse mythology God of War, but is it the best God of War? No.
No. I would argue 2 or 3 would take that cake.
Yeah. Number 17, the 2013 reboot of Tomb Raider is a phenomenal game. I can see it being at 17, honestly. It's just a shame what they did with the next two.
With the next two games?
They're not good. They're not good.
So I've never played. So I played the OGs back on the PlayStation. Had nightmares of the butler chasing you around. But I haven't played any of the modern Tomb Raiders.
Tomb Raider 2013 was like a soft reboot, kind of like what they did with God of War.
Okay.
2013's Tomb Raider is, for me, it is classic Tomb Raider brought into a modern setting.
Okay.
The other two, whose names are escaping me, Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider? Yeah.
Rise sounds about right.
Yeah, Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. They're not great.
Okay.
They're okay. They're okay. They are still Tomb Raider. They're still the Tomb Raider style, but they're not great. I have a thing on my gaming channel where it's like we have the Nutter counter. The Tomb Raider trilogy, this trilogy, was the thing that introduced it.
Is it really?
Though I can't remember if I think it's Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is the one where you start climbing a mountain. That's where my Nutter counter came from. Which is
That's
the whole thing of like,
hilarious.
if you ever see something in a video game that exceeds the suspension of disbelief so much that you go, Nutter, you have to give it a Nutter. Rise of the Tomb Raider did that, which is the one that comes after this.
That's so funny.
I
always wondered when that originated.
It came from Rise of the Tomb Raider.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Ooh, that's low. Ooh,
I think that's a little low, just because of the following that it has. So I've played very few of the Star Wars games.
I think KOTOR 2 is better. I think if KOTOR 2 isn't on this, that's too low for that.
Okay. What about number 15? Have you ever played number 15?
I've never played Metroid Prime. I can't have an opinion on this
So
one.
I played. So it was a GameCube release, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Is this the one that was first person?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard this one's the best.
It's really good. I don't know that I'd put it as a 15 of all time. I think maybe 20, 25. Somewhere in there. It would be good because it is a phenomenal game. But I wouldn't rate it a 15.
If I'm not mistaken, they're remaking this, aren't they?
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't
I'll
know
play the remake.
Yeah, no, I want to play the remake. And I think you can get this game on the Switch still. If you go on the store.
Yeah, maybe.
But,
yeah, I wasn't a Nintendo kid growing up. I had the Game Boy and all the handhelds, but I didn't have the consoles. My dad had the Sega Mega Drive 1 and 2, and then I went to PS1, and I went up that way. So I never really had the consoles for Nintendo. So there's going to be a lot of Nintendo games on this list that I've never played because I just didn't have them as a kid.
So I bounced around a lot, just from Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox until I finally landed on PC for years.
Yeah, my first console that I had was the Wii, and then I didn't have the Wii U. I had the Switch. I
Never had the Wii U.
Switch. No, I never had the Wii U.
I had access to Wii, but I didn't have the Wii.
Well, you just didn't need to go yet.
Wii.
Okay, Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty, number 14. Okay.
I've heard a lot about the Metal Gears. I've never played them.
I just said I was a PlayStation kid growing up. It's a good game. It's a good game.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, higher or lower? Or accurate?
Lower.
Lower.
For me, lower.
I only know one real thing about it, and it's Solid Snake and just him in a box.
The thing that makes this such a good game is the stealth. The stealth is near perfect, I'd argue. It's very, for the time at least, it's near perfect. It's very, very well done.
I'd love to
I
see.
think that's why it's rated so high.
Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. I'd love to see that on this list because that.
I'd love
really
to see
good
Splinter Cell come back.
Right.
Oh, Splinter Cell was an amazing scene. What a throwback. Jesus. Okay. Splinter Cell was amazing. If it's still going, I've not heard of it.
I know nothing of it. Splinter Cell on the GameCube was the last I'd ever touched it.
Splinter Cell was very, very good, yeah.
I assume it was on more than just a GameCube. It wasn't a GameCube original.
No, it was on everything. It was on everything, yeah.
Like, what, 2006, 7?
I think it was around about the time of Metal Gear. I think it was trying to be like a rival to Metal Gear.
Okay.
But yeah, I might be wrong about that. But 13 is Resident Evil 4, which I've heard is the best one.
I've never played. I'm not a big horror game fan. There aren't for me. I'm a sissy when it comes to stuff like that. I've never played any of the Resident Evils, any of the Silent Hills. I don't know.
I didn't play them because my parents are very much sticklers for the whole. It says 18 on it. You're not 18.
Yeah.
But Resident Evil 4, as far as I'm not a big Resident Evil fan, but I've heard it's the best one. Tell me if I'm wrong, by all means, in the comments. But
yeah.
From what I've heard, it's the best one. Speaking of the best one, GTA 5 is 12. Is it the best one?
Do you think that would break top 10 for you?
I feel like it kind of has to.
The only reason I feel like it would is just because of how big of a game it is. I mean, it's still going actively this day.
If we're doing best video games of all time, it has to be number 10 at least.
Yeah, okay, I can give you that one.
It's if you're doing my personal top 10, no, it wouldn't make my personal top 10. But if it's best video games of all time, its influence on the industry, how it's still going,
that's true.
Everything like that, it's top 10.
Even 12 years later, and it's still getting memes of we got this before GTA 6. Like,
it's done the Skyrim thing as well of releasing again and again and again and again.
I mean, that's why I finally bought it, was because it was on sale.
Unless the next 11 are genuinely better, I think that's too low.
Okay. Well, 11, I would agree, is too high.
I disagree with you. I think that's where it should be. Street Fighter 2 is arguably the best fighting game of all time.
I was more of a Tekken person, believe it or not.
That'll be why you'd think it's too high.
I wouldn't even give Tekken this level. Maybe 15. Now, I will say Street Fighter is much bigger than Tekken. Tekken was the Mario versus Sonic. It was their opponent.
Street Fighter is arguably the biggest fighting franchise, but
100%.
I think the thing that I'm trying to keep in mind with this list is it's the best video games of all time, not my best video games of all time.
That's true.
I think Street Fighter 2 did more for fighting games than Tekken did.
Oh, no, 100%. I'm not saying Tekken was, like, pivotal at any point. That's me just tangenting. Street Fighter is a huge pivotal game, which is why it's still getting remakes to this day. I mean, it's got movies, like...
Yeah. I mean, the Mortal Kombat movie is still iconic, but, you know. Street Fighter's there, you know? Number 10 is too high. And I will not take any arguments. Number 10 is too high.
Number 10 is too high strictly because of which game it is. Halo 3 is the best. I will die on that hill. It is the you know what? Just for that, Halo 5 is the best. I know you loved Halo 5.
Those who don't know, Matt and I both played through the Halo series for my other channel, for my gaming channel, and Halo 5, I had to play it solo. Because he didn't have an Xbox at the time and it's not on PC. And I cried my way through that game for how bad it was so that I could play Infinite with him, only for us to both not finish Infinite and put it down because it was so boring.
Halo 4 was trash. I didn't like Halo 4.
Halo 1 and 3 are the best, honestly.
1 and 3.
After going through, 2 is iconic, but I don't think it deserves it. I think 1 and 3 are the best. But
I think 2 is because... 3 is way better than 1. 1 is better than 2. 2 is big because that's when it started getting recognition.
2 is the thing that sort of like blew up Xbox. Like Xbox blew up because of Halo 2. Halo 2 was also, I know Halo 1 had it, but Halo 2 was like the beginning of like big online playing, like multiplayer and that sort of thing.
And that's why 3 is so big.
Right place, right time. I think Halo is a little too high. I'd put it lower, but it's...
I could argue that.
It's worthy of top 20.
Oh, for sure. It's still a massive game franchise.
Yeah. I don't forgive that Master Chief collection, though. That is a terrible collection. It runs awfully. The amount of crashes that we had with that collection.
We struggled hard trying to get that to run.
Mate, I've got toasters that run better. Number 9, finally something old.
Of all time...
Pac-Man's iconic.
It should be on the list. It should be on the list. I don't think it should break top 10.
No, it's top 20. It's like number 20.
Oh, yeah.
It's like number 20. I think if Pac-Man's here, then you've got to have Super Mario. But
Oh yeah, 100%. No, so I enjoyed Pac-Man. I enjoyed it a lot. My brother-in-law actually had one of the arcade systems in his basement.
Nice.
He still has it, but the screen went bad on it. He needs to get it fixed. But
which is expensive.
Oh yeah, he needs the conversion kit so it can be modernized. And the other story. But no, it's such a fun and iconic game. Definitely make the list. Not top 10.
Not top 10. It's number 20. I'd put it, if I had to put it anywhere, I'd put it at number 20. Like
it's going to be the entry level of a top list.
Yeah. Whew. Number 8 is The Last of Us. Not The Last of Us Part 2, The Last of Us 1.
I'm going to make a lot of people mad. I have no interest in even trying these games. I'm not this. It's a Telltale game, isn't it?
It's Naughty Dog.
Is it? Okay, The Walking Dead's the Telltale.
Yes.
The storyline games like that, they don't interest me.
You're not a railroaded sort of thing. Fair enough.
I feel
It's
like
the opposite of me.
I feel like those kind of games are more like cinematic wise.
The Last of Us translated into a TV show so well because you're being railroaded on the journey. That's why. It's the same as things like God of War and stuff like that. To an extent, you're being railroaded on a journey. And yeah, if
now
you
I've
don't
heard it's
like
an
having
amazing
that done,
game.
Yeah, it's an amazing story.
Yeah,
it's an amazing story, and that's what sells it is the story. That's what
Okay.
is why it's such a good TV show because of the story. But I can see why you wouldn't want to play it. I can absolutely see.
Number 7
is hell yes. Hell yes.
I am okay with where that's ranked.
Yes. Hell yes. Absolutely you are. I replayed this recently for a playthrough for the gaming channel I have. It was the most fun I'd had in weeks.
So
I loved every moment of playing this.
watching Wii Sports, I will say the only critique I have is I enjoyed Mario Golf more than Wii Sports Golf.
But that's because Mario Golf is a golf game, whereas Wii Sports is a mixture, no?
No, that's just comparing the golf aspects on both of them. When it comes to Wii Sports, like, it's so iconic. I remember going to families' houses. So, like I said, I had access to the Wii, but I never had one myself. I would go play bowling, we'd play, I say badminton, but it was tennis. I enjoyed playing those a lot. It's a great family game.
Wii Sports, I think, it deserves the number 7 slot. First of all, I have so much nostalgia for it, and when I played it again recently, I was like, oh, this is not just nostalgia goggles. I actually think this is a great game, because I remember the Christmas that I got the Wii. I remember my grandmother, some other family members clearing away the table from Christmas dinner and everything, clearing away the table and everything. And in the living room, my granddad and my uncle moving all the furniture as far back as it could up against the wall, moving the coffee table out into a spare room and everything, and just setting up the Wii, and my grandmother coming in and seeing my granddad bowling. It's such a good one. And that's the reason why it absolutely deserves to be number 7, because everybody could play it.
I would argue, this is just a broader statement, I would argue the Wii is one of the most innovative game consoles we have ever seen.
The Wii, for me, I think gaming had always been kind of a niche thing that was looked down on. You've got things of being called the nerd because you sit at home and play video games and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Wii changed it.
Yeah, it's for everybody. You could do so much with it.
And yeah, you could do anybody could play it. And
New light on Mario Kart, being able to actually steer, it is the most innovative thing we have seen in gaming, with the exception of VR. VR just expands on the Wii.
The difference, though, is the Wii is accessible to everybody. VR isn't.
No, not with the price points on those.
No. But yeah, the Wii Sports absolutely deserves to be number 7. For a party game, it's phenomenal. Oh, hello! Hello, number 6. So now, as the Pokemon creator, should I take the wheel?
Now, here's the question I want to ask you. I got 2 of them for you. 1, do you agree with where it's ranked? 2, do you agree with the games that they chose?
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
I agree with it being top 10. maybe I'd put it a little lower. Maybe put it at 9 or 10. It's interesting that they chose Fire Red Leaf Green.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you're a Black-White fan. Those are your favorites, correct?
Gen 5, yes, those are my favorite.
Okay.
I think Fire Red Leaf Green has probably been the one to make this list because it's the first remake. It remakes Red and Blue, the original games. For me, if anybody ever says which Pokemon game should I play Pokemon in order to experience the whole thing, and some people have done it that I've talked to, I've said yes, but don't play Red and Blue, play Fire Red Leaf Green. Don't play Gold and Silver, play Heart Gold, Soul Silver, because for me, Fire Red Leaf Green is what Red and Blue should have been. Okay. They took the original game and they made it better. They made it more playable, because Red and Blue is a mess of coding. Like, there's so many bugs. There's so many bugs. Fire Red Leaf Green, I think, is the true Gen 1 game. So I can see it being there, but it's weird that they picked that one. I agree with it, but it's weird that they picked it.
See, I've always made it well known, I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan. I enjoy it. I don't hate on it at all. And I am not against playing even the new ones. I've played Sword and Shield was my most recent. But I would have put it a little bit higher. I probably would have given it number 5. Because I think in general, Pokemon itself is just massive. Like, for what it was in, 1993, 4? Like,
no, it was later than that.
Was it? For the original Red Blue?
96.
96, okay. But still, that's a monumental game. Like, every kid, I would argue almost every single kid, if they didn't have a PlayStation yet, or if they didn't have, like, the Nintendo series, they had a Game Boy or a Game Boy Color, and they were playing that. That was the game for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
Red and Blue was the first video game that I ever personally owned. Up until that point, I'd played my dad's games. And then one Christmas, I got a Game Boy and I got Pokemon Red. And I remember just absolutely falling in love with it.
Waiting for every street light to pass when you played in the car at night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the problem with putting Fire Red Leaf Green here is almost every Pokemon fan will disagree. Because Pokemon is one of those series, kind of like Final Fantasy, where everybody has a favorite.
Yep.
Everybody has a favorite, and I think they're brave to have picked one, let alone any. Like, they're brave to have picked it. I think if there's not another Pokemon on this list, it would cause some arguments. But I don't think there's going to be another one. I don't think there's going to be another one.
Probably not.
They could have done the safe thing and gone Red and Blue. They really could. They could have done the safe thing and gone Red and Blue. People would have gone, yeah, all right. But good on them for going Leaf Green.
Or even Gold, Silver, really. Just because everybody had either Gold or Silver, or Crystal, really.
Yeah, the Gen 2 games, yeah.
Because I had Yellow and Silver, or Yellow and Crystal. That's what I did.
Oh, you had the third game of each generation.
Yep.
Yeah. That's fair. Ooh, I thought you'd be number 1. I thought Minecraft would be number 1. I really genuinely did.
You know, I wouldn't say number 1, but I at least thought it would be in the top 3 because of how...
game of all time.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, when I was actively uploading, most of my stuff was either Ark Survival Evolved or Minecraft. And I still enjoy Minecraft. I'm sure in the next 6 months I'm going to get back on my Minecraft kick and I'll be playing Minecraft again.
Yeah, you're the Minecraft guy. Like, you love it.
That's where most of my subscribers came from was the Minecraft stuff. Personally, though, I'm kind of okay with it being number 5 because it's huge. Everybody's played it. It's niche.
I thought it would be number 1. I'm fine with it not being number 1.
I'm really curious what the number 1 is.
I never really got into Minecraft. I've played it on and off to an extent, but I've never really gotten into it. If I've ever played, it's been with people like you. And you've done all the work for me. I've just been there with my little blocks, just building things. You know, I've never really gotten into it. I never saw the hype. But again, like I said, I'm the person, I don't like being dropped into the middle of nowhere and going, right, off you go. You know, I don't like it. So
I think it definitely paved the way for me to be as big into survival games as I am.
Oh, yeah.
I very much enjoy being put in a place and being told, all right, you have the entire world to explore, and I love the progression as you can like continue crafting stuff higher up. It's led into other games, and I've loved it.
Yeah. I love that number 6 and number 5 have been games that we're both known for.
That's fine. Mine's better anyway.
It's one rank higher, yeah. Number 4. Ooh. Tetris.
You know,
Tetris.
top 10 maybe because it is, and it's a huge game, but it was also a huge game in the 80s. What? Are there still Tetris championships? I'm sure there are.
Yes, there are. Yes, there are. Yes, there absolutely are.
It's moving puzzles. That's all it is. Yes,
Keep
it
in
gets.
mind,
I'm
this
not
is
saying
the-
it's easy.
This is the best games of all time based on what they've done. Tetris revolutionized the industry.
It did. I would still argue Pac-Man's should be higher than Tetris.
I agree with you that Tetris should be lower. I don't agree Pac-Man should be higher.
Really?
Yeah, Tetris is more of a success and more influential than Pac-Man.
Okay.
I'm happy to see that there are arcade games in the top 10. I'm happy to see that.
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised Space Invaders wasn't on there because that was huge.
It wasn't
Every
that big.
arcade system, every arcade had Space Invaders in it.
Yeah, but they also had Pac-Man and Tetris, and
That's true. Exactly. So it should have been on there. Maybe 25, but
yeah, well, top 3 time. What do you before you look? What do you think the top 3 are?
you're too late.
You've looked.
So I've seen the top 3.
You've seen the 3. You've seen all 3.
No, I've seen like number 3. I haven't seen
number
2 or
3.
1.
Mario's got to be on there. Mario has to be on there.
Okay.
I'm surprised I haven't seen Sonic yet, but I think it's too late to see Sonic. I really don't know. I think Mario's the only one I can think of that has to be on there. I haven't seen Crash Bandicoot yet, which is surprising.
I haven't seen Crash. I haven't seen Zelda.
Yeah, no Zelda. Breath of the Wild's going to be number 1. Breath of the Wild is going to be number 1. I'm calling it now. Breath of the Wild
I'm
is
trying
number
to think
1.
what other like pivotal games have existed. As trolly as it is, I haven't seen Fortnite. I would be okay
there
if
you
Fortnite
go.
stays
There's
off
the
this.
3. You've just named my 3. That's my 3. Mario's going to be there. Fortnite's going to be there, and Breath of the Wild's going to be there. That's why.
Okay. I'm trying to think any other hugely pivotal games. I don't think I can think of any.
Now all I have in my head is the pivot thing from Friends. Pivot.
Pivot. We have to play Moving Out. It's literally Pivot as a game.
Amazing.
Okay. Go look at number 3.
Number 3, yeah, it's Mario. Yeah. Number 3 is Super Mario World. That's the original one, isn't it?
World. No, Super Mario Bros. Was the original. World is for the Super Nintendo.
Again, not a Nintendo kid.
Super Mario 1, 2, and 3 was for the NES.
Yeah, I'm so much of not a Nintendo kid. I've never played it. I've never played it. The only Mario I've played is Mario Wonder, and that's because I have a Switch.
So going back and playing it, it's super linear. It's the same thing as Super Mario Bros. But I don't know. I like it. It was the first game that I ever owned. I had a SNES at my aunt's house, and I was able to go over there and play it. She had the TV set up. And yeah, I had Super Mario World. I had Paperboy. I had F-Zero. I think I had one more. But yeah, Super Mario World, easily probably like my number 1 game overall, of all time.
We've not seen Mario Kart either. That's interesting.
Ooh, we have not.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's only 2 left.
Number 2. Breath of the Wild is number 2. Okay, I thought that'd be number 1.
Astrobot's number 1.
I don't think it was out yet.
Probably not.
It better not be Fortnite at number 1. That's all I'm gonna say. Breath of the Wild, again, I've played it up until a point. It was phenomenal. I just didn't have the time in my life to play a 40-plus hour game.
I would argue that it is not a number 2 game of all time. I would argue it's not number 2. Maybe a top 10 for sure, but not a number 2.
I know why it's always ranked in the top 3, but yeah, I don't know enough about it. Number 1. Oh, you absolutely are kidding me. You are kidding me. The Last of Us Part 2 is the best video game of all time?
I'm going to argue that that was the editor of whoever made this list threw that on there. Because The Last of Us in general, probably a great series. Best game of all time? No. You know what? I take back my statement about Super Mario World being the best game of all time. If I had to rank this as an unbiased list, I'm kind of with you. I would probably put Fortnite as one of the biggest games of all time.
Because Fortnite not being on this list, as much as I don't like it, is wild.
Oh, I hate Fortnite. I did play Season 1. I played a lot of it. I've probably got it's subjectively a lot. I've probably have 100 hours in Fortnite, which is a good time investment. I don't like the game, but I can't deny how huge it is.
Yeah.
It's been going, what, 2017, 2018? And it is still That's like the #1 streamed game still.
Yeah, it's exceptionally successful. I don't understand why that's not on the list as much as I personally don't like Fortnite. I have a 100% win rate in Fortnite because I played one game, won, and then uninstalled it. So I have a 100% win rate.
I'm pretty sure I cheesed my third game by hiding in a bush, and I didn't even kill the other person to win. The storm got them.
That's how I won my one game. The storm killed them. I didn't see a single enemy. I didn't fire a single bullet, and I won my first ever game and went, right, well, I'm done with that, and I installed it. The fact that Fortnite did not make the list, and yet The Last of Us Part 2 is #1. I've been okay with this list the whole way until that #1.
For the most part, I've been okay with the list. Might have changed a few things around, but yeah, no, going unbiased, Last of Us in general being in the top 5, most, like, best game of all time, nah.
Yeah, I think they fumbled there. They fumbled the ball right at the last second there.
I think there was some personal bias involved.
Oh! Sorry, I've seen why they're on the list. We didn't read the blurb at the top. So at the top they say, we rank the 25 best video games of all time from Last of Us to Minecraft. As we anticipate the next season of The Last of Us, let's consider the very best video games ever.
Okay.
That's why.
So yeah,
that's why.
It was a biased list.
It's a biased list. It's a biased list. They think The Last of Us is probably... whoever made this list probably thinks The Last of Us series is the best video games ever.
I was elected to lead, not to read.
I really hope that one day we can find a list that's actually not subjective.
We're going to have to put it together ourselves. That's what we're going to have to do.
We're going to have to make a list of like what actually is like the most influential games. Mm-hmm. Based on the fact that they're influential, not on we really like them. You know? Yeah. Because there's so many games on there that should have been on there that weren't.
There is. I mean,
revolutionized the industry. Well, I mean, what do you all think of that list? I mean, we've clearly found out from reading the thing that we should have read at the beginning that this is a little bit of a biased list. With the fact that they're talking about the Last of Us TV show and then they put the Last of Us 1 and 2 in the top 8. But what do you all think? What is your best video games of all time? Your #1, your top 10 or whatever. Let us know. If you have any other lists or anything you want us to go through, stick them in the Discord. There's a link for that in the description. And yeah, if you're not already subscribed, feel free. And until then,
bye.